Hello and welcome back to another episode of the College Football Hangover. I know it took last week off. That's because majority of the country did. I think the only teams that played were Oregon, USC, and we're not going to talk about the other team that might have played that week, Nebraska. Go Big Red. They had a bye this week, so they can't lose. So let's talk about the second ever college football playoff rankings. They came out yesterday, and some changes were happening. Obviously, because in the first rankings in the top four, we had Ohio State, Ohio State number 1, LSU number 2, Alabama number 3, and Penn State number 4. Now, the changes are big because Penn State lost to good old PJ Fleck rowing the boat in Minnesota, and LSU managed to beat Alabama. I didn't think it was possible, but somehow they found a way to do it. Mostly because they learned the forward pass and incorporated that into their offense. So now the changes are here, and I'm a little annoyed by it because not much change is happening at the very top. Number 1, LSU takes over Ohio State's spot, which kind of seemed like it was going to happen because obviously LSU beats the number 3 team. They get to jump to number 1. Ohio State slides down to number 2, still beating the shell off the Terrapins last weekend when they played Maryland. Number 3, Clemson. After being number 5, getting held out, the defending national champions hop back in. Personally, I think it was silly to put them at 5 anyway, because they're still the defending national champion and they're still undefeated. Everybody's argument was like, well, what have they done this year? They remained undefeated. They had one really bad game, and that was against North Carolina. Sorry. I mean, we're talking about strength of schedule and who they play. Alabama's only ranked opponent they've played this year, LSU. And they lost. So we're basing it on that metric. It's silliness. This is my whole point with this whole ranking system. It drives everybody crazy. It doesn't make any sense anymore. So at number 3 is Clemson. Number 4, it is Georgia. They climb back in after they're being held out. Now, personally, I'm a little annoyed with this too, because although Georgia probably deserves it, I don't think they should. You know, we're talking about the 4 best teams, but we also talk about losses and when you lose them and how important they are and all this other crap. Georgia's one loss isn't as impressive as Oregon's one loss, because Oregon lost by 6 points to the now number 12 ranked Auburn Tigers. With that metric, shouldn't Georgia be number 5 and Oregon number 4 and then Alabama be number 6? I'm just saying, based on that metric, that's what we should run by. And of course, like I just mentioned, Alabama somehow, some way stays relevant, gets to number 5, and Oregon at number 6. Oregon gets punished for not playing. That's another thing that annoys me about this committee. Why are there 13 people in it? Why do we need this many people to decide who's going to be a national champion? It doesn't make sense to me. It's not necessary to have a whole committee. What other sports league has a committee to decide its champion? Let me think. None of them, because they all have a set-in-stone, presentable way for the postseason. And that's what college football should have. I'm sick of playing this game where it's like, well, this team lost at this certain point, so this team has to go here, and then this team goes here. But there was snow in this one, and then there was some weather here, and then somehow, some way, this guy got a flu, and this guy missed his dentist appointment, so he couldn't play. Like, we're playing all these stupid rules and applying all these different things, and no team is created equal. Let's just look at it this way. Have you lost? No. Are you beating strength of schedule? Are you beating good opponents? Yes. There's your metric. Solved it. How is Oregon number 6 when they didn't even play? Rounding out the top 10, you have Utah at number 7. You actually know what? I'm not even going to bother. You already know who's in the top 10. The point is, I don't get the idea. Look, Alabama did pull within 5. But if we're going just based on halves, they were down 20 points at halftime. They had a nice comeback. But they were at home, and they lost at home. Shouldn't that mean more than dropping 2 spots? Because like it or not, they're going to find a way back into the national championship. Unless Auburn can beat them, or somehow Oregon finds a way to leapfrog them in the committee's all-omnipotent, all-seeing eyes, Alabama's going to work their way back into a national championship game. And it's just going to keep adding to the fact that we need more than 4 teams. Because maybe they would get in an 8-team playoff. They probably would. It's still a harder mountain for them to climb. I know I'm talking fast. I'm going off the rails. It's just I have a lot in my brain about this because it just still doesn't seem right. It seems like we're right there, but not quite. And it seems like we're so close to reaching the greatness we want. If the season ended today and these were the 4 teams, I'd be kind of happy with it. I only say kind of because I still don't necessarily agree with Georgia being number 4 because their loss is the worst loss when they lost to a bad South Carolina team. Now, again, we also put a lot of pressure on the regular season because you lose one game, you could completely be out of the title contention. I mean, that's unfortunate. No other league is that brutal with how they do things, but that's just where we're at as a sport. But I guess that's what makes it great and makes it so difficult. I'm just saying you can't punish teams like Clemson and you can't punish teams like Oregon because their conferences are bad. It's not their fault that their conferences are bad. And while you can award teams like Alabama or Clemson or LSU because of their strong schedules of their conference and their strong other teams, you can't punish other teams because they can't control that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if we're really playing by strength of schedule, Minnesota has a bad schedule, Baylor has a bad schedule, Oregon has a bad schedule, Alabama until they played LSU has a bad schedule, Oklahoma, schedule. You know, we could keep going down the list. Ohio State probably has a okay schedule. It's just, this stuff makes me angry because I don't understand it. I'm trying to get into the mind of 13 people that try to say that they're objective, but even if there is a conflict of interest, then you eliminate one committee member, so then there's a higher percentage of choices, and sometimes it could be down to like 7 committee members. And my whole point is, why do we have a committee deciding this? We had an algorithm before with the BCS, and people complained about that. Figure it out, because this is no way to decide a champion. To have 13 people sit in a room and seriously delegate when losses are important, who they lost to is important, and all this other stuff, that's not a way to do it. That's just, I mean, college bowling has a better situation and system than college football. Get what I'm saying? Thank you so much for watching this fast-talking conspiracy theory overanalyzing of the second college football rankings of the year. Thank you so much for watching. If we're going to go best of the week and hack of the week, let's get to it. Best of the week, Joe Burrow again is the best of the week. Actually, you know what? Take that back. LSU is best of the week. The reason they're the best of the week is because they did us all a favor. They beat Alabama. Now, I know I jokingly said that Alabama would probably find their way back into the national championship, but it's going to take some help. And personally, I think this might be the first year ever since 2014 when we started doing the college football playoff in this sport. I think this might be the first time ever that Alabama will get left out. I think it was a great performance all around. I mean, they kind of tried their best to lose the game, but LSU, thank you so much. You did us all a favor. You're the best of the week. All right, and now we go to hack of the week. I got to do it. I'm going to probably do it every week now that the rankings are out. I'm going to go after them. I'm taking them out on them. The playoff committee, you are the hack of the week because, no, I'm kidding. You're not the hack of the week, but, just accept it. I'm just going to say honorary for the rest of the season. You're going to be hack of the week just because I'm upset at you for still keeping Alabama in the hunt. I know they should be, rightfully so, but my bias is that I hate them and I don't want to see them there again. And I think I speak for a lot of fans when I don't want to see them again. I understand we need a villain, but I'll gladly have a new villain. LSU could be the new villain. I'm okay with that. Or Ohio State. They're mostly the villain anyway. I don't care. Point is, you're the hack of the week. Thank you so much for watching another episode of College Football Hangover. This is going to be the change in the format. If you don't like it, sorry. I mean, you guys didn't really watch it in the first place when I did the other format. But going forward, they're going to be going up on Wednesdays, and they're mostly going to be analyzing the college football playoff rankings because that's what's mainly going on. I might have some game breakdowns to talk about them if they're really exciting. I intended to talk more about Bama and LSU, but my brain was much more focused on the rankings and all the stuff that was going down with that. So I apologize for that, but hack of the week, best of the week, that's just going to stay the same. And like I said, hack of the week is probably going to just remain the committee because that's just what I do. I mean, this is the first time in a long time where I've been, for the most part, they've been getting it right. I did not think that last year or the year before, but, here we are. So I will catch you again next week. You can check out other shows on Loud and Opinionated. You can also, the new Facebook page for Loud Sports. Go give that a like. And also on Twitter at Loud Sports Pod and Instagram now. So if you want to get a chance to watch our clips, you can watch them on all those social media platforms. You can watch it right here on this YouTube channel. So there's no excuses not to watch Loud Sports is what I'm trying to get at you. You can also listen to the Jake Williams Show. And we're working on bringing back the other podcasts that are usually on the Loud and Opinionated Network. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.